Hello everyone, welcome to my session on risk management. In this particular session, I shall talk about three important things which are related to the risk management subject. These are number one, defining what is risk, number two, the positive versus the negative risk, and number three, the risk management. So let us understand one by one about each and every terms associated with the project management subject. So, what is risk? It's an uncertain event or the set of events that, should it occur, will have an effect on the achievement of the objectives. A risk is measured by the combination of the probability of a perceived threat or opportunity occurring and magnitude of its impact on the objectives. So, all organizations, including temporary ones such as those concerned with programs or projects, will encounter uncertain events when trying to achieve their objectives. These uncertain events may arise inside or outside the organization. Each individual uncertain events that would impact one or more of the objective, it is known as risk. So risk may arise from internal factors relating to organizational process, systems and people, or may come from the external sources ranging from natural disasters, political turmoils to changes in the economy. The marketplace or the regulatory environment are also the examples. So we use two terms in relation to risk. One of them is a threat. So threat is an uncertain event that could have negative impact on the objectives. The other term which we usually use is the opportunity. So it is used to describe an uncertain event that could have a favorable effect on the objectives. So risk is not necessarily only associated with the bad things. It can be associated with good things happening as well. So let us try to understand the difference between the positive and negative risk with the help of an example. So positive risk is a situation, occurrence or event or a condition that has a positive effect or the impact on an enterprise or a project. Taking risk can be extremely rewarding and can positively affect your business and its objectives. Keeping in mind that positive risks are good for the business because they create good results and encourage the success. On the other hand, negative risk should be regarded as a threat that negatively influences your project objectives like time, quality, cost, and many others. Therefore, the negative risk should either be eliminated or avoided altogether because it brings the negative outcomes and results in a project failure. So, what are the examples of positive and negative risk? Let us try to understand. The example of positive risk or the opportunities are number one, the change in government that could mean additional funding in the technology that would be helpful to any business. Number two, change in legislation that could mean less barriers to selling our products to a global market. So these were the examples of the positive risk, which we call it as an opportunity. Let us try to understand the examples of the negative risk or the threat. So number one example is increase in the government compliances and reporting leading to a threat to the organization concerned. Number two is increase in the tariff and the limits on importing and exporting. So these were the two examples related to the negative risk, that is the threat. So in general, positive risk is something that you should always be open to and even enhance it since it has valuable consequences for your project. Whereas the negative risk is the opposite and worst case scenario for such risk is the lack of success in any project delivery. So moving ahead, let us try to understand the third most important topic for this particular session, that is the risk management. So the term risk management refers to the systematic application of the principles, and it's an approach and a process to the task of identification and assessing the risk and then planning and implementing the risk responses. This provides a disciplined environment for a proactive decision making. So the first step in risk management is the risk identification. Once a risk has been identified, it must be defined in a statement for those who will decide how to control it. This risk statement is a critical part of the risk management. Every organization manages its risk in some way, but not always in a way that is visible, repeatable, or consistent. So, to support effective decision making, the risk assessment should be visible, repeatable, and consistent. So, the task of risk management is to ensure that an organization makes cost effective use of a risk management process that includes a series of well defined steps. The aim is to improve the internal control and support better decision making through a good understanding of the individual risk and the overall risk exposure that exists in a particular time. So, in recent years, all the sectors of the economy have focused on management of risk as the key to making organizations' day to day decisions. successfully in delivering their objectives while protecting the interest of the stakeholders. So risk is uncertainty of outcome, and good risk management allows an organization to achieve certain things. Number one, having increased confidence in achieving its desired outcome. Number two, effectively constraining the threats to acceptable levels. And number three, taking informed decision about the opportunities which are available before the organizations for exploiting. So, good risk management also allows the stakeholders to have increased confidence in the organization's corporate governance and the ability to deliver. The resources available for managing the risk are finite, and so the aim is to achieve an optimum response to the risk, prioritized in accordance with an evaluation of the risk. So, risk is unavoidable, and every organization needs to take action to manage the risk in a way that it can justify to a level which is tolerable. The amount of risk which is just to be tolerable and justifiable, it is called as the risk appetite. Effective risk management needs to give full consideration to the context in which the organization functions and to the risk priorities of the partner organization. So that was related to the risk management subject. When we talk about risk management, it is said that for risk management to be effective, the risk needs to be number one, identified, number two, assessed, and number three, controlled. So identified means from within the context of an organization to ensure a common understanding. Assess means estimating probability, impact, and the proximity. And control means planning, implementing, and then controlling appropriate responses. So this is about the risk management. In my further sessions, I will talk about risk management in detail. So thank you so much. Thank you for being connected with me. Good day.